Hi. How's everybody today? I hope you're having a good Monday. For part of the day, forgot what day it was. That's just kind of how it's been. I'm just going to pull a couple cards because I've just been having this amazing awareness today. I've got the cards out because, you know, when we're up leveling and the things that were working for us before or, you know, felt really important to us before, and then we go through a huge up leveling and we drop off a lot of ego, we drop off a lot of belief, and then suddenly we're in a completely different place, in a different space, and it's like the things that were our beliefs before have fallen away, and it's kind of a very shifting sands position to be in. And I know I'm not alone in this. I know a lot of people have been going through this. I'm just shuffling away as I'm chatting about what I want to talk to you guys about the rocks of belief. The rocks of belief comes up for me every time I go through this, and I love this analogy. I'll never forget it. It was one amazing spiritual teacher used this analogy. So the rocks of belief are like the beliefs that, so as human beings, we all need something to believe in, right? We need some sort of foundational beliefs to function in our world, to make sense of our world, right? So imagine we're all floating in a stream, right? And we can cling on to certain rocks. I have a little tiny rock right here. This probably wouldn't be good for clinging, but for example's sake, we're clinging to these rocks, right? And then suddenly things change, new information comes in, new awareness, you shift perspectives, you totally change vibrationally, and suddenly this belief, even though it served you for so long, doesn't make sense anymore, right? And we have to let go of that rock, and suddenly we don't have that anchor. Suddenly we're just thrashing around in the water like, oh my God, what happened? You know, who moved my rock? I know I've done this video before because every time it comes up in my life where, you know, there's tons of ego falling away and there's everything that goes along with that. And then a lot of up leveling, I feel like I think of the rock analogy, right? So I love that story as being the rocks of belief. And then sometimes we look for new beliefs to cling on to that serve us better where we're at in our new place, wherever we find ourselves, right? And so the important thing is that it's not that what we believed was ever wrong. It was never wrong. Nothing was right, wrong, good, bad, whatever. It just was, right? And it served us at the place in consciousness that we were at that moment. It was fine for us then. But what's unsettling is when suddenly you've been clinging onto that rock for, 6 months or 2 months or 5 years or your whole life, and you let it go. It's like, oh my gosh, who am I without this rock? Help! My hands have formed to the shape of the rock, right? So it's like we have to reinvent ourselves again with who we are now. And I know so many of you are going through this. Like one perfect example of this I thought of that so many of us can relate to is before I had kids, I was an expert on what it was like to be a parent. And then I had kids. None of this is like what I thought it was. Not that I said it outwardly, but I felt that I knew, what it was going to be like to be a parent. But then I had that major paradigm shift and I realized I didn't have a clue. I knew nothing about this. And so my rock of belief just fell boom, right? Like probably landed on my head and knocked me out. So I'm going to pull the cards because it looks like I don't have very much battery left on my phone. Oh my gosh, first card. Oh, you guys are gonna love this. It's juicy. Okay, second card. Oh, I love it already so much. Oh, this is great. So ancestors, first card. Oh my gosh, where do we get so many of those foundational beliefs, right? From the ancestors. So we get so many of those original beliefs from our ancestors, and we're having to let go of all of that right now, right? Even releasing it, and it's not clogged up with all of this stuff, right? That we've been carrying for generations. I love how it says generations. So we're purging ourselves of all of that rocks, right? This is a really pretty rock. I feel like this is too pretty to represent the rocks of belief, but I feel like they're more, you know, these older ones anyway, they're kind of more like jaggedy. Anyway, but this one is so pretty. This completely makes sense, right? So we're letting go and helping heal all of that so we don't have to go through another cycle of this, right? Next card. Oh my gosh, this is where we're at. We're feeling the love and the compassion and the self-acceptance and the self-love for ourselves, for where we came from and for where we're trying to go, right? And really it's about letting go of all this, thanking it for what it taught us, knowing that everything was perfect, that we were never victims to anything, that we chose our experiences and we came in here and we want to, and somebody said it perfectly the other day, she called it warriors of experience. We are warriors of experience. We are not victims of circumstance. We're warriors of experience. I thought that was beautiful. I love that. So now we're in this place of love and compassion for ourselves from where we've been. Really hold yourself gently when you're letting go of the rocks of belief, right? And so we're going to form new beliefs. And of course, we always have the universal laws to fall back on, right? The universal spiritual truths that we can fall back on. So those are beautiful things to revisit whenever you're at an in-between, because you always understand them at a higher level too. So now where we can accept and love all that we've learned, taking all the lessons with us, right? But we're moving into a higher place of being, right? From living from the heart, living from compassion, living a heart-centered sovereign life that's not tied to so much karma, right? Not tied to so much patterning and just repeating of stuff. We are moving into release. Beautiful, sweet release. And whenever I think of release, I think of surrender, right? Like we're totally surrendered to what's new, what's next, what's coming, right? So this says autumn equinox. So that is very much about letting go. So there's a period of rest coming, right? The trees are going to rest. The trees are going to go dormant and rest. And I know we're not going into autumn right now, but we are going into a period of needing to rest after going through another huge rock of belief scenario, right? Letting go of all of that. It is required to, because it takes you sort of into a dark night of the soul place. That's just what happens. That's just how, you know, we reintegrate that ego, is by letting that go and, you know, really reevaluating, which can be a dark night of the soul, and releasing all of that. And so after that, we go into a resting period, just a complete rest for your soul, for your body. And then, you know, being ready for what's next, for that next level, of consciousness that you're at, and you're ready to understand new concepts, new ideas, new things that you couldn't understand before, or even the same concepts at a totally different level. That's always fun, right? When you revisit old books or old concepts that you're just like, wow, I never saw it this way. This is amazing. I hope that helps someone out there, and you might have been going through that same thing. I know it was big for me today. So everybody hang in there. You know where to find me if you need assistance in letting go, understanding, more awareness, soul's perspective, all that stuff. I'm here to help with that. And I have my next Akashic Records class coming up. I actually picked a date, and I don't have my calendar near me, but I believe it's the 23rd of June that I would like to start the next class. So I'm super excited about that. So if that's something that's calling to your soul, let me know so I can write your name down. I have a list of people going that really want to be kept in the loop on any, you know, master classes I do or anything leading up to that. So let me know if that's you. Bye. Have a good night. Have a good week too. Bye.